Welcome to Brick School. Today we're going to be talking about grids and how to size them a little differently. Just going to kind of wing it, show you a few things. You never know when you're going to learn something that maybe you don't know. So let's go ahead and take a look at it, shall we? So right off the bat, we have what is basically, your standard grid. It is a 1 frame by 1 frame. And if you notice here, I've written out the repeat to 1 frame. So it's just saying repeat it 2 times. If I was to put 4 here, it would create 4 1 frame, right? And if I wanted to get like really, really tricky, and I could say, well, repeat it 2 times, and I want 2 frames to 1 frame. And there you can see now it is on that one line, repeating it twice where I have, this is actually now a 2FR, but you see what's happening. And that's an easy way, although how practical that is, I don't know. However, let's just go back to where we were and say 1 frame, and we'll change this back. Now, I have just made these frames color so that you can see them, nothing too exciting here. Now, that's fine and dandy, and it works good, like here, I can go ahead and put in an image, and let's say I'll use that moon that I happen to have from the previous thing. And it's going to be confined to the 1 frame. It's going to hold it. And even if I change this and I change it, say, to 1 frame and 3 frames, then the blue thing is going to be 3 frames wide. You understand? So, what is a frame? It's just a unit of measurement, and it's relative. So 2 frames is going to be twice as wide as 1 frame. Don't overthink this, Billy. It's not that hard, okay? So there you go. You got 1 frame, and in this case, you have 3 frames. And this is really good, and I use it all the time. The problem is, as you resize, things can sometimes get a little wonky. Now here, because it's straightforward and simple, it works fine. But what if you wanted this frame here to not get smaller than a certain size? What if you wanted this frame, let's say, to be no smaller than 300 pixels? Let's try that, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to do a min-max, and we will say 300, you know what? Let's do 250 pixels. And 1 frame. So what we're saying is take up 1 frame. Okay. And I should actually change this. This here is now 3 frames. I was going to do this lesson a little different, but I think this will work. So now this is going to be 1 frame, but as we get smaller, you see what's happening here? This 1 frame is now bigger than the 3 frame. Why? Because we told it, this frame here cannot be smaller. Even though its maximum is 1 frame, it has a minimum, and it's saying, hey, I can't go smaller than 250 pixels. And if we wanted to adjust that, I don't know, let's go back here and we'll change that, say to 150. Okay. Now you notice that the moon didn't get any different. Why? Because it's easily fitting in its 1 frame. It can go way bigger than 150. Because remember, this is our minimum. Our minimum is 150. And you could change it around. You could say, okay, well, your minimum is 1 frame, but your maximum is 150 pixels. And see, that doesn't work so well, does it? Because now your minimum was 1 frame, and that boosted it to the next layer. So you really can't kind of do that. But what you could do is you always want to have, obviously, you're smaller in the thing. You could do, say, 30 pixels. And by the way, don't ever use pixels, but you get the idea here. And then I'm setting my size by my max because I'm on the desktop here, right? So if I go 300, boom, 300. All right. So that's all good and dandy. And let's just go back to what we had it at, which was, 250, I believe. And we'll go to 1 frame. Boom. So we're back. 250 is the minimum, and yet it can grow. However, that's fine and dandy when you're dealing with a picture. What about when you have content? So you've got your min-max. That's going to set your minimum and your maximum across the thing. But what if I want this red, this whole division here? I don't give a damn about the image. I want the whole division to be a specific size. You can do that too. And how you do that is here. You can, instead of all this, we'll just take this out. You can actually just say your size. So let's say you say 12 rem, that's 120 pixels at 62.5% on your font size. So 12 rem, okay, 120 pixels. And the next thing we're going to put is auto. All up in there. Isn't that sweet? Now we're not really dealing with frames. We're breaking out of that. We're saying, hey, this first column, I want it to be 12 rem. And don't worry about the rest. Now, there is one here you could do, which is content width, which makes it a little more responsive. But again, I'm going to leave that out for right now because I actually think these more advanced things will be in another video. But you see the power here where I can say, hey, man, like, I tell you what, let's take this red thing and let's change the background. Instead of a color, let's go ahead and put in a background image, okay? And this image, I don't know, let's set this image to 50% width so that we know the image isn't pushing anything around. All right. So there we are. We've got this, and we now want to say, okay, we could change this here. This is now auto. So it's going to automatically fill up the rest. And this here is whatever you set it. So going back, we've got 12 rem, if let's say we want it to be 33%. Boom. Now you got 33%, and the rest is just going to fill up automatically. Now, is this real good if you're trying to do, bento boxes and all that? No, that's not the point here. Typically when I use grids, I'm doing like the layout, the main layout of the page kind of thing, or actually, I overuse grids, so maybe that's not a good example. But you see what I'm saying? You can control it as though it were a separate entity. So that kind of gets you, understanding. And I'm really just going to focus in this video on the first line thing, because honestly, once you get into multiple lines and stuff like that, it's not hard. It's actually quite easy. And in fact, I'll be doing a video on that in the near future. But, I just wanted to do a video to show you some different ways of laying out your grid that maybe you're not familiar with, maybe you're unaware that it does it. And, the 1FR thing is great. So is the grid 2, grid 3, like all the frameworks, Brick Styler. I made it and I use it. So, and also this is a really big thing and this is where it's really kind of brick specific. Do not assume that you understand what you can put in here. And I know what you're thinking. Hey, Tubby, what do you mean? What do you mean I can do other things? Well, let me show you here. I'm going to go red, blue. Okay. So now we have two lines, right? And you're probably wondering, hey, what if I want my gap to be a little bit different? Okay, so let's look at this. We have our 33% and auto, and you want the gap a little different. Maybe you, for whatever reason, you want these to touch or whatever, but you've already got your space M in there. So what do? Try this one. 0. Did you know it took two values? Of course it does. It wasn't Bricks that invented the whole gap thing. This is just plain CSS. Bricks is just giving you a way to see how it works. So if I want to have no gap between the rows, obviously I put the 0 in the front. And again, you can still, var space, I don't know, let's go XS so that you can see the difference. I have Brick Styler, I think, on this site. Pretty sure this is Brick Styler that I have installed. And so here you go. You can see, it's one setting, gap, and a lot of people go, oh, well, I like to use Flexbox because I have a column and I have well, you still have the column and the row gap. It's just on one box gap, So there you go. You can, you kind of do these things any way that you want them. And, the other thing is try. If you're not sure, if you're thinking, I wonder, just go ahead and punch some stuff in, see if it works, and you'll find that more often than not, you could, if you wanted to, you could run a calc in here. So there you are. Hopefully this helped. Hopefully you're going to join Brick School. Links in the description. Also, both Bricks Bits and Bricks FX are on for 50% off now on the Goodbye Summer. Isn't that a clever little name I came up with? On the Goodbye Summer event. So hopefully you'll buy that because that helps me make these videos. And other than that, have yourself a great day and I'll see you in the next lesson. Peace.